There was once a man who had achieved what many would call success. He had stability. He had recognition. He had what any man would ask for. But he did not have peace. At night, when the world grew quiet, something inside him felt unfinished, as if he were living only on the surface of himself. So he left the noise behind and traveled to a place where mountains stood older than ambition. There, in a simple wooden temple, lived a spiritual master known not for miracles, but for clarity. The man bowed and spoke honestly. "Master, I have learned how to succeed in the world, but I have not learned how to awaken within it. What is inner awakening, and how does one reach it?" The master studied him for a moment, then gestured for him to sit. "Awakening," the master said softly, "is not a single event. It is a progression. There are stages to consciousness. Most people live and die without knowing which stage they stand in." He poured tea slowly. "There are 7. Stage 1, the physical prison. In the first stage, the master began, a person lives only through the body and the world of form. Life becomes survival. Identity is built on possessions, titles, and comparison. Success defines worth. Failure defines shame." The man lowered his eyes. The master continued, "This is what modern teachers like Eckhart Tolle describe as unconscious identification with form. The ego believes it is the total self. You react. You defend. You chase." The master paused. "Awakening begins the moment you question whether this is all you are." Stage 2, duality. In the second stage, awareness expands, but divides. Right and wrong, us and them, success and failure, light and dark. The man nodded slowly. "This stage is necessary," the master said. "It sharpens perception, but it also creates conflict." He looked toward the mountains.
Teaches that when you divide the world,
that when you divide the world,
yourself.
you divide yourself.
You begin to see more.
You begin to see more,
stand in
but you
opposition
still
to what
stand
you
in
see.
opposition to what you see. Stage 3, mental sovereignty. The master leaned forward. "Here, something powerful happens. You realize you are not your thoughts." The man felt a subtle shift just hearing the words. This was the teaching of Bodhidharma, direct seeing into one's true nature. You observe the mind instead of obeying it. Blame weakens. Responsibility strengthens. For the first time, the man felt hope. "So control begins here?" he asked. The master smiled gently. "Not control, awareness."
Stage 4, energy awareness. In the fourth stage,
Stage 4, energy awareness. In the fourth stage, the master continued, "You understand that attention is energy. Where you place your focus, your life begins to organize." This is something taught by Neville Goddard and his teacher Abdullah, that imagination is creative power. The man leaned closer. "So we create reality." The master raised a finger. "Not through force, through alignment. You become mindful of what you consume." The conversations Stage 5,
you
the
entertain.
inner battleground.
The stories
the
you
master's
repeat.
tone deepened.
Peace becomes
This
intentional.
stage is difficult. Old habits resist death. The ego fears irrelevance. You may feel doubt, confusion, even regression. He closed his eyes briefly. The poet Rumi spoke of this as burning in the fire of transformation. "What you seek is seeking you," the master quoted softly. "But before you rise, you must release." The man felt the weight of his own resistance. "So this is where most people turn back?" he asked. "Yes," the master replied. "Because growth feels like loss before it feels like freedom." Stage 7, full integration. The master placed the cup down gently. The final stage is not supernatural. It is integration. You are fully human, but no longer unconscious. Thought, emotion, and action align. Presence, as Eckhart Tolle teaches. Imagination aligned, as Neville taught. Non-attachment, as Zen reveals. The man felt something settle inside him. What changes at this stage? He asked. The master smiled. Nothing outside you. Everything within. You work without losing yourself. You speak without aggression. You move without fear. Life no longer drags you, and you no longer try to dominate life. You participate consciously. The wind passed gently through the temple doors. The man sat quietly, absorbing the stages, not as theory, but as mirrors. Master, he finally asked, which stage am I in? The master laughed softly. That, he said, is the wrong question. The man looked confused. The right question, the master continued, is this. Are you willing to move? Silence stretched. The mountain stood unmoving, yet alive. The man bowed deeply. For the first time in years, he did not feel like he needed to become someone else. He simply needed to awaken to who he already was. And somewhere within him, the journey had already begun.